Okay, so yeah, let's start. Hi guys, a very good evening to everyone. My name is Neeti, and so let me give you guys a brief introduction on what is Udan. So Udan is a platform where people come together and just share their experiences, and we have just recently just started this thing. And the other thing is, this is we want to try and build a community. And for today thing, we have Natasha Punjabi with us. Mm,
Hello, everyone.
yeah, so I'll just quick introduction. Uh, so Natasha has done a BMM in advertising. She has done a postgraduate in advertising, media, and marketing communication. And right now, she is in Abu Dhabi. She stays there, and she's the founder of Natangle. I hope everyone has just checked her page. Like amazing artwork out there, and other thing is she's a self-taught artist. She has not learned anything. She's done everything by herself. She's an entrepreneur. And Natasha, I think you can just start.
Okay, so hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Udan to give me this wonderful opportunity to conduct this webinar. So, hello, everyone. I'm Natasha Punjabi, like you all already know. So, I used to be in Mumbai for 26 years, and it's been 5 years that I've shifted to Abu Dhabi. And since I got to Abu Dhabi is when I started Natangle, and Natangle is 3 years old. So, like Neeti mentioned, I'm a self-taught artist. Yes, I'm a self-taught artist because I did not do any art course or get masters in the art field. But I cannot say I'm completely self-taught because I did look up for tutorials or took inspiration from artists and then learn from them, and that's eventually how I started making my own art form. So today's webinar, I put this up on Instagram, and I see a lot of people from Instagram here. I see a lot of common names. So I'm gonna talk about what is Entangle is, what is mandala, what is the difference between the two, and what colors are generally used in mandalas, and what does it mean, what goes behind an artwork, and what colors are generally used in mandalas, and what does it mean, what goes behind an artwork. And in the end, I'm going to share with you 36 different mandala patterns which you can draw on your paper as well, and then you can use these patterns to create your own mandalas once you finish this webinar or whenever you have free time. So starting with, what mandala is. So let's talk about, let's do Zentangle first. So Zentangle is basically done in, Zentangle is very a new art form, but its principles go back way in, the history of in cultures and all of that, more into Indian American and Celtic cultures. But Rick and Mary were the ones who founded Zentangle. And Zentangle is basically abstract designs or patterns. They do not have any meaning when you draw Zentangles, and it's done just basically to get your to de-stress, to help focus, to meditate. So that is what a Zentangle is. Whereas a mandala is in Sanskrit it means circle. So anything drawn in a circle is a mandala. So say you can use Zentangle patterns in your mandala. You can also use mandala patterns in a Zentangle. But mandalas are generally done in circles and Zentangles are generally done in squares. That's the biggest difference between the both. Zentangle is an abstract design. It does not have any meaning as such. But in a mandala, it's basically an entire spiritual meaning that it has. And there's a vast there's a lot of detailing that goes into the whole spiritual meaning, and I will not cover that right now because that's like another 2 hours session. So mandala is basically taking you into a different spiritual journey altogether. So you see that these are the two main difference between the two, but there's a very fine line between two because you can use both these patterns in both the art forms. So these are the two major difference between Zentangle and a mandala. However, mandala is such, like if you are an artist or maybe if you just step back, relax your mind, you will see art in each and everything around you. So if you maybe look at the solar system, there's an entire Zentangle pattern over there which is forming a swirl. along with Zentangle, it also creates a mandala pattern. In your leaf structure, when you go and see that through a microscope, then there are again these mandala patterns in a leaf. Even when you see the storm from above, from the International Space Station, when you see the Earth, there's another swirl forming, creating a mandala pattern. So there are mandala patterns in each and everything around you. I see some questions over here. I will, answer these questions after we finish this whole session. I will be covering career options, so don't worry about that. Okay, so in Zentangle, you can also be a Zentangle certified teacher. But for being that, I am not one. I'm not a Zentangle certified teacher, because for being a Zentangle certified teacher, you need to attend a seminar conducted by Rick and Mary, which is in America. So you'll actually have to go to Rhode Island, attend their seminar. They will teach you things. You get a certificate from them. That's when you become a teacher. Now, I've not got a chance to go to America yet, so that is still pending. So that's how you become a teacher in Zentangle. However, there are different colors that are used, in a mandala, and there are separate meanings for each. Now, red is used for strength, more energy, and passion. Pink is used for love, femininity, and intuition. Orange is for creativity, self-awareness, and transformation. Yellow is for wisdom, learning, happiness. Green is used for physical healing and psychic ability, nature, and caring. Blue is used for emotional healing, inner peace, and meditation. Purple is used for everything spiritual, especially when you're focusing something on a spiritual artwork. Black is for deep thinking, mystery, and individuality. So you see how these colors have separate meanings. So whenever you're making a colorful mandala, and you want to depict a particular characteristic of any of these ones that I just spoke about, then you can use these particular colors, and that will give more meaning to your whole mandala design. There are different types of mandalas altogether, and that again is like another vast subject, like what a butterfly mandala means, heart mandala, Celtic mandala, sculptural mandala, geometric mandala. There are various different kinds of mandalas. So that I will create a vlog, and because that's a very detailed topic altogether. So just letting you know that there are various different mandalas, types of mandalas that we do. Now, what goes behind each artwork? Now, this is a very important topic, I feel, because we all take inspiration, references, and we create an artwork. But what goes behind that artwork? Have you all ever thought about it? Take a minute, look at your artwork that you've drawn, and think what has gone behind this artwork. What is the whole thinking behind it? So each artwork has its own story, a story of your thought process, your life experience, and everything that is happening around you. Okay, so there are three main things that goes when you are designing any artwork or creating any art in general. The three things are patience, your research, and hard work. They are the three things when you're creating an artwork. Patience, why? Because if you do something, now these kind of art forms, especially me, I love detailing, I love intricate designs. Now, if I make that in a very hurriedly, the outcome is not going to be that great, and it will not look good. It will not appeal any of you, right? So we need patience to create these artworks. You need to go slow, even if it takes you 15 hours, 5 days, 1 week, go slow and complete it. Now, when you start, when I started this artwork, I was not at all patient. I was a very hyper person. But when I started getting into this, it taught me how to be patient. I eventually became patient, So always look for solutions than coming up with more problems. This is one main life lesson I have learned when I've started Natangle. I mean, these 3 years I've learned quite a lot of things, especially with building my, me as a person, my personality. Second is research. Now, if you are working on themed artworks, you need to understand what goes behind those artworks. Say, for example, I'm talking, if you've seen my recent collaboration, which I did, which was about a wolf mandala. Now, we all know wolf is an animal and all of that, but then what is a characteristic of a wolf? So, I did some research and figured out what are the characteristics, what is the characteristic of a lone wolf, what does it do when they are in a pack, then about full moon, then about werewolf, and things like that. So I learned a lot of these things, and that's when, after that, I started designing my artwork. trying to, pull in each and every element that goes behind it. That's how you will complete your entire artwork. Third is hard work. Now, it's not easy to, you just, it's not like in snap of a moment you will become a very good artist. Even after 3 years, I cannot tell you I'm a very good artist. I have a lot to learn. So hard work is key in this, especially when you want to set up your own art page on Instagram, or you want to, start an account, open a company, or anything of that sort. Hard work is required. And take your inspirations, take everything that you need, but then eventually start creating your own patterns, and that will come through time. So I would like to give you this one exercise after we finish this webinar. What is your USP, right? Your USP means user selling point. How are you different as an individual? Now, you are maybe at home, or you're a student or a mother, and you have someone to hold your hand and guide you through a path. But when you're out there in the world, when you started something of your own, you're out there and there's a lot of competition. How are you distinguishing yourself from everyone around you? How are you different? How will your maybe your subordinate or a senior person, or the owner of the company, anyone, how will they know that you are XYZ person? You will stand out only if you have something different. And this also goes being an artist. When you are an artist, you need to have your own art style. When you have your own art style, and later on, whenever I see some kind of design like this, I said, oh yes, this artwork is very close to what XYZ has done. So that's how you distinguish yourself as a person, as an artist, as an individual. So this is all the things that goes behind each and every artwork. Okay. Another thing is you need to be a risk taker. Now, why I'm saying this, I'm a risk taker. Definitely, I'm a risk taker, because I was working in an advertising field. I quit a very high-paying job, and I started Nutangle. And when I started Nutangle, there were a lot of difficulties that I had to face, which I challenged myself and faced all of it. And today, this is where I am. So you need to take risk, and only when you take risk, you will be able to open your mind and think out of the box. If you are not going to think out of the box, how is your art going to be out of the box, right? So that's a very important point. You need to take risk, not only in life, but in your art and in everything that you do around. So that's pretty much about what goes behind each artwork. And about career options. So there are various things that you can do. Actually, there are a lot of courses available online. And when doing that, basically, I'm going to give you a list of things. So I'm just going to read them out point by point. Graphic designer, art director, art agent, art professor, commercial artist, animator, interior designer, art gallery dealer, fashion designer, illustrationist, advertising designer, fine artist, architecture, set designer, typographer, caricature artist, web designer, mural artist, tattoo artist, product designing. So you see there are a list of things. There's pattern making, there's t-shirt designer. So you see the kind of career options that you have. I'm sure there are more than these. These are a few things that I just thought and I have listed them down, but there are a lot more other things that are available there in the market. As far as Nutangle is concerned, how I started it is, I first started doing patterns on paper, like how we generally start. We start doing patterns, and you should not rush into everything, because then you're not going to, learn the whole process, the whole step. So first thing what you need to do is start designing on paper, your patterns, take references, learn different patterns, come up with the whole new pattern. How do you come up with new patterns? For example, you've learned pattern A and you've learned pattern B. Pattern C will be a mix of both these patterns. That's how you've developed a new pattern altogether. So you see how you make new patterns. So to get that new pattern, the whole concept right, you need to learn various different patterns that one needs. All right. So you start with that, then you start experimenting on various different art forms. Like for example, I started with Zentangle tiles, and I did mandala. Then I started doing Zentangle inspired art. Now Zentangle and Zentangle inspired art, the difference between the two is Zentangle is generally done in square tiles. However, Zentangle inspired art is when you've drawn maybe a character, say a deer, you've drawn the outline of a deer, and you've used those Zentangle patterns in that deer. So that is Zentangle inspired art, because Zentangle is supposed to be done only in squares. Whereas Zentangle inspired art, you've used that particular pattern in something else. So that's what Zentangle inspired art is. So you start evolving over there, make different things, and then you start experimenting on things that you have at home. Any product, maybe, you know, anything that you have. So say maybe, I'm going to show you a few things that I made when I was experimenting this. Now I found a stone, all right? I found a stone and I designed on the stone. So that's how you evolve. You have to find everything around you and then you start designing. Now this is a mobile holder. I found this mobile holder and I started designing it. All right. So another thing I had is coasters. So now, because I started getting confidence in this and figured out what kind of pens go in each material, I have then started going on with the whole product designing. So these are various different coasters that I have made, or each of them have different patterns. So that's what coasters are. And then I have, just hold on, I have quite a few things on my table to show you. So I went to a Chinese restaurant and I found these chopsticks, and they were very plain ones. And I'm like, it's too plain. I need to do something on it. So I actually designed these chopsticks. I just keep them as a decoration at home because I'm not comfortable eating with chopsticks, you know, the Chinese thing. Otherwise, I can also use this in my food. I can actually eat them and use it. I can wash them as well because they are water resistant. So no problem with that. And then I had a tray. So then I designed a tray as well. Okay, so that's how you start evolving. You figure out all things that you have at home and make, you know, experiment on them, start designing, see how it looks. And then it's like you've actually created a whole new product line for yourself. Now I'd also designed a lamp. So this was my first lamp that I ever designed, you know. This is an experiment, and I've never sold this, though I've got a lot of inquiries. I've not sold it because it's very close to me, because it's my first ever lamp. So you see, this is a mandala on top, and then there are different patterns over here. So here there's a question who's someone's asking me as to how do you earn through mandala. So this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. The reason I'm showing these different products is to tell you that you can use these mandala patterns in all these career options that I've given you. In fashion designing, you can see them on clothes, like t-shirts and your dresses, they're different. So you can use Zentangle and your mandala patterns on your day. If you're talking about interior designing, the whole decor bit that goes in interior designing, you can use these patterns. Merchandise, like I've just shown you all these different things. So you can use it in that. Architecture, there are a lot of architect students who also use these kind of patterns. So it can be used in everything. So that's how you earn from mandala. So when you begin, you do not directly think about earning. The reason is because when you set a price before even starting an artwork, your artwork is not going to be great, because when you are creating, all that you're thinking is money, 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 money. And when you're thinking about money, 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 your entire creative brain just switches off. And when it switches off, your whole artwork is not going to, be that great. So when you create your artwork, see what it is, then after doing that, you set a cost to your artwork, and then you sell it. How do you set the cost to your artwork? See, now every artist have different rates, all right? So depending on how small, how big, how well-known, worldwide, dollars, rupees, it all varies on that. So one important point is, first you need to see the hard work that you've put into your artwork, how many hours you've taken to make that particular artwork. Second is how detailed your artwork is. So your hours first, second is how detailed your artwork is. And basis that, then you see whether needs to be, what materials are required, like how much you spent in making that artwork. So you calculate that. And then after that, you add in your extra amount, and then that's how you come up with a particular rate. So that's how you, price your artwork. Okay, I just got a question here. Your paperwork, ma'am, of your initial timing, please. Because also when I create artworks, time is such, I've never really calculated time when I draw, because like I said, I go very slow. And even if a simple artwork, maybe if maybe to a very good artist might just take 15 minutes. And if I take 1 hour, I take that 1 hour to make it look good. So use your time wisely. If you have a lot of time at home, just go. Not necessarily you have to finish your artwork that particular day itself. So you can, like, maybe if you're busy, you're a homemaker, you're a wife, you have kids at home, and you don't have much time. So what you would do is then maybe remove 1 hour, 1.5 hours at the most. Even half an hour is fine. Few hours, few minutes, how much ever time you have at home, start creating. Every day remove some time, and then eventually you will get there, right? So there is this art is a subject which is not a rat's race. Okay, it's not like a corporate or an organization where you have to really compete with one another to reach to a particular point. This kind of an profession is such that you take your own time, you show your own capabilities, and finish it as and when you want, however you want. There is no rat's race in this particular field. So time is one thing like that. I do not have a store at the moment, and I am planning to build one. I'm just waiting for this whole COVID situation to kind of be slightly better, and then I will start my store. Like I said, coasters. So if anyone wants to buy anything from me, I ask them to DM me, because I do not have a store at the moment. And when they DM me, I then work on the nitty-gritties and do the whole delivery. So that's how I am working right now. And Instagram is one such platform, a micro selling platform, where you can sell your stuff on Instagram. So to set up your art page, maybe when you've just initially started your art page, there are not too many followers that you have. You need to build your base first to, even get inquiries from, directly from the opposite person. Because when you start, the word of mouth is very important. You have to do some marketing of yourself to, get there, to reach out to people. So it took me 6 months, or maybe I think 7 months, to reach to maybe 1,000, 1,500 followers or so. After I reached over there, then, as and when I kept creating, kept interacting with my audiences, and, you increase your followers. So if you're going to be like a redundant user on Instagram, you're not going to get those followers that you want. So how I started earning from art. So my first ever artwork that I sold was when I initially started Natangle, and it was around, I think, 8 or 7 months, 7-8 months after I started. Because when I did that, I started learning digital art, and I started drawing mandalas and Zentangle patterns digitally, and I made some investments, like I have a Wacom, and I design on Illustrator. So my first order was when I had to do like an entire wall art, a digital wall art, and it was a Buddha. And it started from there, and then from word of mouth, because how many ever art pieces you have in different houses, that house becomes like your exhibition, your personal exhibition. So when any guest visiting that person's house, your artwork is already over there. So then if they like the art, they will ask you questions, ask the person questions, who made this, etc., etc. So that becomes an exhibition in your own house. Start designing on things and keep it there. So when you have guests at home, and when they see things around, they'll be like, oh wow, that's really nice, can you make one for me as well? So that's how you start earning, like at a very lower level. I'm talking about how you start from then eventually it just goes on and on. For example, my house here in Abu Dhabi, there is art everywhere. I've drawn on walls, on lamps, on glasses, on mugs, and everything around, wherever I could find. So that's how that's the first initial few stages. My inspiration is, my initial inspiration, and it's been there since then, is 4100, and she's known as Lizzie Snow. 4100 on Instagram, go check her out. She's amazing. She's in New Zealand, and she has her own art studio. She has, her own retail store. She's amazing, and I love her so much that I want to be like her one day. So that's actually my life goal, to be like her one day, have my own art studio, which is also like a retail shop. So people, like, I'm designing over there also, and people come in and can buy stuff from me as well. So that's my goal eventually. That's what I want. uh, how and what do if we get demotivated with our own artworks? Oh, so no artwork is bad. Okay, that's if your artwork hasn't come out well, then it's a learning for you. Maybe because when you're drawing, you figured out that I shouldn't have done this because then this looks really bad. So these are trial and errors, and it's absolutely okay. I have so many artworks where I didn't like them at all. I was on the verge of like literally tearing them and throwing it away, but my husband told me that no, just keep it, because this is going to be like your reference of what you didn't like. So when you don't like something, start from scratch, start designing again, and you will eventually evolve. So there's nothing as each artwork is bad or good. If it's bad, it's like a reference for you. It's like an experience to do something better and good. So don't worry about that, and don't get demotivated on such things. On what kind of tools I use, like I've got a question over here on pens. I have saved all the details like of that in my Instagram highlight story. So you can just go there, go to tools, and what pens I've used on each and every surface has been listed over there. So you can actually go there and have a look. I've also shared pictures of that and on each surface, things like that. Through any other questions you have? Okay, how to become an entrepreneur? So entrepreneur is a very is a stage where I became quite late, because first what I was doing is I was molding myself, learning new things, and growing a lot of skills that I want to learn. So I learned a lot of skills, started growing that way, and then eventually I could say that okay, now I'm an entrepreneur because I started selling stuff eventually. So and that's when the Tangle started growing. So like I've already told you this, like start from basics and then eventually you will get there. Yes, this is my Instagram handle. So in case you've missed it, it's at Natangle and 2_ after. So that's my Instagram account. So now I have designed 36 patterns, and because I am connected through my laptop, I am going to screen share and I'm going to show you on Illustrator the different patterns. Now I have made them in grid format. If you want to make a similar grid format, up to you. I will give you a few minutes to make that, or you can also just draw it on paper, and that can be your reference when you're drawing a mandala. So if you combine 2 to 3 or 4, 5, 6 different patterns in that one thing, then you've already created a different mandala altogether. So it's up to you if you want to make grids or you directly want to just draw it on paper, one after the other. It's up to you. I'm going to just screen share. All right, so this is my screen. I hope you all can see my screen. Okay, so this is the grid I have made. If you want, you can quickly draw one or you can draw it on your plain paper. It's up to you. So I'm using a Wacom. This is how my Wacom looks. Just make it out. So Wacom is available in 3 sizes, small, medium, large. The reason I've taken a large Wacom is because it gives me more space to, do my intricate and detailed design. So that's the reason I have taken a large Wacom. And this is the digital pen which I'm going to use. This is how my pen looks. So it's pretty much like I'm drawing on paper, but digitally. All right. So should I start or should I give you all a few more minutes to make your grade if anyone is making?
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. I can wait. Just let me know when to start, yeah? So then I will start.
can start off.
Okay. Okay, the name of my inspiration, she's known as 4100 on Instagram. She's also known as Lizzie Snow. So if you type either, you will find her. Okay, so now I am going to zoom in. I might not be able to read your questions. So wait. Okay, so this is my first grid. I'm just going to take a pointer. All right. So what our first thing is from here, how do we draw a leaf? That's what we're going to do. Okay, so this is, you can draw it however you want, your first leaf, however big, however fat, however small, tall you want. All right. So this is my outer base of the leaf. I'm going to give it an outline. I always prefer drawing on paper, such patterns, but it's right now just easier to show you all here. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is, okay, I'm going to zoom in more so that y'all can see from the center point of here. Now how we draw like raindrops, but it's going to be like this. This is one, and we're going to do one in the opposite side over here. Okay, now you can see there's a white space here. So what I'm going to do is just color, fill it with your pen. Okay, my next, now what we're going to do is draw these two raindrops in this whole space over here. So again, from the center part, you go to the second part over here and I fill another one. Same way, I am going to fill it this side. So you get the drill, you will going to do the same thing on top. So it goes from small to big to bigger. And in the last one, I'm just going to end it with the centerpiece here. Now it's up to you how you want to fill these backgrounds here. These ones that I have marked with the dot. Either I color it, or I draw lines, or I just leave it plain. So it depends how detailing, how small your mandalas are going to be. And you can do it accordingly. I love coloring the white space because it just looks more beautiful. It gives it more depth. So I'm coloring these white spaces. If you don't want to and you think it's looking good just as it is, then you can just keep it that way. So with this, we finish our first pattern. This is how it looks. Now in the second one, we're going to, these are all leaf designs that I am showing. You know, there are there are various different kinds where, you know, there are different kind of petals you can do. I'm just going to show you some over here. Hold on. So there is some that you can do like this. There's some that you can give it a swirl over here and get it down like this, like a mango shape. There is some that you just give it a small, thinner version. There's some that, like how we did this, you can do it in the opposite side. So, or you can do it this way, one that way, and give it another shape. Or you can give it this way. So you see, you can just experiment and see, use different shapes, and you can do that. So coming back to this particular leaf, again, we draw an outline. The reason why we draw outlines when we are doing these patterns is so that, because we are doing a lot of intricate details, right? So one pattern needs to stand out from the next. And so we need to draw these borders to make it look different from the others. So a second pattern is going to be like this. So now from this point, you know how we have peas? So that's what we're going to draw. So give me one curved line this way. And this is another curved line. All right. So it's like an eye shape. Now inside, like how we have those pea pods, that's what we're going to do. We're going to fill it with circles. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to fill it with circles inside. So in the end, it looks like peas. And go with the shape. There'll be big, small. Now you see this white space here. Again, up to you whether you want to fill it or you want to leave the white space. It's up to you. There are both options available. So it completely depends on your design. Right now we're just learning the pattern, so it's fine. But when you're doing your mandala, you need to think about that. So now I have colored it. Now what I'm going to do is just follow this outline and continue on both the sides. So from this end, I'm just going to give it an outline and end at the point over here. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. So by doing this on both the up and the bottom part, we are just giving a nice, a 3D detail effect. We're just following the same pattern. Right? We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And that's how my pattern looks like. So that's our second pattern. Now coming to the third, again, give me a leaf. We draw a leaf. These squares are too big for my leaf, but it's okay. You want me to slow down? I can slow down. Just let me know in the comments. I'll just have a look. Okay, this grid can be of any size. Don't follow this particular size. It depends if you want to make a square and just make equal size of basically needs to be a square and you draw inside that. Not necessarily need to follow the same grid. I feel that my squares are too big. That's the reason I would prefer drawing a leaf like this. But my whole grid is too big, so that's why it's broad from here. So you can maybe make a smaller one than mine. Okay, so the third pattern is like I have made my leaf and have made the outline of the leaf. I wanted to make another small one over here. Okay, and another border inside, and we will color the inner part. Okay, now we have white space here. Over here, we can do way too many patterns, designs, anything. But for now, what we are going to do is we're going to draw circles. So this is how my circles are going to be. I will go with the size that is there around. You can either make them circles, you can make them X shapes, however you like. Now the white spaces around, again, we're going to color them. The reason we are coloring is so that the circles, they stand out. They are not hidden with the blank spaces around. We are going to make some Zentangle patterns in these patterns as well. I will tell you when we reach there. So with this, we finish 3 patterns. So see 3 different patterns. Now if you merge all these 3 patterns into a mandala, you just see how beautiful it looks. You can just like mix and match and make so many. And the 4th one, again, like give me a leaf. Give me another outline. Okay, in this one, okay, I got a question over here. Is it better to use different size of pens or we can do with the same one? You can use the same one. If you want to color the inner part, you can use a thicker nib. So it's, slightly quicker for coloring. When you're using it, when you're doing your detailing, use a thinner nib. So your details come out perfectly. As far as coloring is concerned, you can use a thicker nib. If you don't want the hassle of shifting too many nibs, then you can just use the same pen. It's okay. Okay, now in this one, what we're going to do is from this point over here, okay, just have it from here, we are going to give it a curve this way, just follow the upper part over here. So from this part, we've gone this side over here on top. Give me another from here, border. We have another outline. So now we have divided our leaf into 2 parts. On the top part, you can again do a lot of things. You can draw circles or, a different pattern. But what we are going to do is lines, because we've done already some circles in the previous one. So we're going to do it with lines. And in this, you can use your thinner nib. So you're doing lines close to each other. And when you draw with the thinner nib and close to each other, you get a very beautiful effect. Okay, so I've finished my lines over here. Now in this part, we're going to do like a swirl. Like I'm sure most of you know what a jalebi looks like, right? Like it goes like this, right? So that's what we're going to do. So from here, we go down, just follow this whole outline, reach the other part. All right, so now I've reached over here. Now I'm going to go inside and make that swirl. Now, digital art gives you these kind of effects, but don't bother about that as of now. Okay, so I made my swirl over here. So this is the 4th pattern. This is how it looks like. Is mandala a profession or a hobby to you? Okay, so it's both actually. It started off as a hobby and now it's my profession. So yeah. Okay, now the 5th one, again, draw a leaf. Okay, guys, like I said, my squares are too big, so my leaf shapes are not coming that great. But the agenda is to basically show you all the patterns. So I'm just going to show you all that. All right, so I've already done my outline. Now what we're going to do is from here, give me an ulta yule or maybe a semicircle. Give me another one above it. Okay, now from the center part of this, we go up and give the swirl. Okay, and from here we go up and give it a swirl. So it's like a half heart shape. Now you can either just keep it open like that or you can color the top part. There are 2 different options. You can use any. All right. So once we're done with this, we are going to now from here, give me petals. So basic normal petals of a flower. both the sides. Okay, now we have these empty spaces here, so color them. You see, it already looks good like this. Now, it's up to you whether you want to leave this space empty or you want to do something else inside this. What I am going to do is I'm going to draw a heart inside. And I'm going to color it. You can also draw a circle, you can draw a flower, anything. Basically to fill up that space over there. All right, and on top, just, no, let's leave the top part. There are too many things on it already. So this is how it looks like. Okay, now we go to our sixth. This one is pretty simple and I use them quite a lot. Okay, can you give me a leaf? Give me another border. Okay, now what we're going to do is give me like a raindrop on top, or you can say a teardrop, however you want. And then we're going to keep continuously doing the same thing till we reach the bottom part. So from here to this point, and we'll keep continuing. This design needs to give you this black part, these blacknesses here around in the corners. So you keep doing that. And try making it slightly closer to the line which you've already drawn. So it just looks more compact, more detailed. You can see I've drawn quite close. So there are options over here. Either we leave it as it is, or we color alternate ones. It's up to you. So this is my next sixth design. Now coming to the seventh one. Give me a leaf again. Okay, in this one, what we're going to do is just like how we did this one over here, right? Where we went up like this. In this, what we're going to do is pretty much the same thing, but the ends are going to touch. So something like this. We go and just go halfway there, all right? So one here and one here, and we are touching the two parts. That's what we need to do. Okay, we've got this pattern here. Now from here, let's draw a curved line and make more of those, fill that whole area out. And make them close to each other. All right, now we have a lot of empty spaces here. Either you can leave this as it is. This is how it would look in your mandala. Or if you want to fill this up as well, what we can do is from here, give a drop. We're going to color that. Okay. All right, so this is how the pattern looks like. Now, coming to our next pattern, which is the eighth pattern. Again, give me a leaf. Give me another border. All right. What we're going to do is, this one is pretty simple. It's basically a semicircle like this and one on top like that. And just fill it up, doing the same thing. You can start your next one from the center of both like that, like how I've started over here. It's the center of both. So you see over here, this is a center. You can keep this sheet as a handy when you're designing your mandalas. Okay, there. I'm done with this hole. That's how it looks. All right, now coming to the next one. Again, a leaf. So draw your leaf. Give me another border. Okay, now in this one, what we need to do is, you know how we make checks, right? So we have to do that. Make your slanting lines. They should be like squares. And now what we're going to do is, in the each intersection, give me circles. Okay, so something like this. Yeah, like dots, right? So we're going to do that only on each intersection. So this is how it would look like. And over here, you can have the semi dots. Yeah, so this is another pattern. The next is, again, give me a leaf. Give me another border. Now in this, it's more like, abstract. So basically we're going to go give you one swirl like this, and then another curve over here, and maybe another swirl over here. Have another one that goes like this, like a horn, right? And then I'm going to do one outline like this, another one that goes this way, and then we go inside. So this whole thing is going to be covered like this, where we are not touching too many things, but we're filling it with all the details. So, keep enough space between each. You can draw this kind of a petal. Go again with a swirl. Then another outline like this. It's all different patterns. You can repeat the same one as well. And that's how we fill the whole thing. More like a mehendi design, right? Now the next one is, give me again like a leaf shape. You're going to draw them all in leaf shapes, okay? So when I say next one, just draw your leaf. All right, now I've drawn this leaf. What you need to do inside is, again, give me like a semicircle here. So we're done with two like this. Now cover this whole outside space with petals, right from top to bottom, the whole page, the whole pattern. So in a leaf, you're already you're drawing a flower pattern. And the one, the space that's there on top, you can discolor it. So that we're done with this pattern. And the next one, again, a leaf. Or you can draw any shape in that matter if you want to do something different, like the ones I shared before. You can draw another different petal, like this. Maybe if you want to draw in that. Now in this, what we're going to do is a leaf. How a leaf looks like, basically from the top to the bottom, we draw a straight line and then we fill it up with lines. I love using this pattern. It looks amazing in a mandala. Now in this, you can also do different options. I'm just going to tell you, I won't do it though. You can color each like alternate. You can color each alternate. It gives a different look altogether. Or maybe you can put in more lines or some other different pattern alternatively. Okay, in the next one, what we're going to do is, again, give me a shape, whichever you want to use it in. If it's a leaf or the other pattern which I just showed you. All right, in this, what we're going to do is, I love doing this pattern as well. It's one of my favorite. What we're going to do is just randomly, you can use any shape inside. Now I made this curve, but each has to meet on one point, one end only. So from here, I end it here. And this inside the whole pattern will go the same way. So you see how I have reached to this one point, all are starting at different intervals here. Now in the other one, say I made another one like this. Okay, but this time I want to keep that point over here. So I will do it the opposite way. I've used this pattern now when I'm designing hair as well, if you've seen my previous artworks. So see, now I've gone this way. Now I want my point to be here. So from here, I'm going to start and meet the point. Now from here, I will just any random shapes, okay? Now in this whole thing, I'm going to leave that as 1 and I'm going to keep my point here. So I'm going to start from here. And with that, we finish this pattern. Now see how this looks from afar. Now again, to the next pattern. Over here, what we're going to do is give me like another petal. If you want, we can start from here, go up and down. Okay, another border outside it. And we're going to draw lines. Each line has to be very close to the other one. Okay, like this. Sorry guys, this is taking some time. Like I said, when you're drawing your patterns and such detailed design, it always takes time. So I don't like to rush it up. If we do not have much time left, then, I can show how many ever patterns in that much time. And then I will maybe share this whole thing on my Instagram and y'all can check over there. Okay, so this is how this pattern looks like. Now, the next one, again, you do your thing, the leaf or any or any shape that you want, give it a border. Now, what we're going to do is just like how we made the jalebi on top or the swirl, we're going to do this in the whole thing. So how we're going to do is from here, just follow, make a circle. Yeah, we made a circle. And from this point, continue inside and go round and round and round. Yeah, these points that are here, you can just add in the lines on outside over here. So this way you have filled your whole pattern. Going to the next one. In this one, what we're going to do is give me a triangle like this from bottom at the end of these two. Give me a triangle. And from here, what we're going to do is just follow the line. And from here, you do the same thing. And continue to do this. And when you reach here, just continue, like go slightly lower and we are done this way. This is how it would look like, giving you like a bulge effect in the center. The next one is a very basic pattern which we can use when you already have a lot of detailing, maybe in your mandala, you've used a lot of intricate designs and then you need something like a breaker in the middle so that it just looks beautiful. You need some space. So what we're going to do is, basic lines. That's it. That's it. This is like a breaker. In the next one, okay, in this what we're going to do is give me like a half swirl, all right? So half swirl is what I meant is this, like I just want a half swirl. Okay, given a half swirl, and from top we will have like a teardrop and a smaller one inside, and then you color this. And in the sides over here, you can do a lot of things over here, but what we are going to do is just dots. Or you can also do a stippling effect over here. But for now, we are just going to do the dots. And this is how it looks like. Okay. The 19th design over here. So we're done with 18 designs already. Neeti, if you can hear me, should we, like this is going to take some time maybe because we're still on the 19th one. There are 36 patterns. So maybe if we want to stop over here with the patterns, we can do that. And then I can share this on Instagram.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, because then this will maybe take another half an hour more.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so I'm going to share this pattern on Instagram. And so I've already showed like 18 patterns. So you can use, combine and make a whole different mandala altogether. So now if you have any questions, you can shoot and I can answer some quickly because we've, I think, already gone behind the 1 hour timeline. So if anyone has any questions, you can quickly ask me. I can quickly, answer them and then we can end the session. I'm having full mandala passion. How can we turn into full-fledged profession? I've actually covered this question when I was talking about this earlier. So basically you can start. Now this again, I'll have to repeat the whole thing. I will, how about you message me on Instagram and I can, reply that. Okay, Shubham, I know you want to have more patterns, but we're running out of time and our session is going to be ending soon. So I have, like I said, I have 36 designs. We were on the 18th one, so we've done half of it. I will share them on Instagram and you can maybe check over there. I hope you guys like the session, because like I said, each pattern, it takes time to, fill it. Did you turn your personal Instagram as Nutangle or did you create a new page for it? So, okay, yeah, that's a very good question. So I actually turned my personal Instagram account to Nutangle. So when I started, if you actually go through and swipe down, you will see a few of my personal pictures over there. And then because I already had like 1,000 or maybe 600. I think when I got into Nutangle, there were around 600 followers already. So I wanted to capture those 600 followers and then continue from there. And that's the reason I converted my personal account into my business profile. You were telling to show, okay, so you want to say a Zentangle pattern order? I'm going to show you. How about I show you what I've already drawn? Because the Zentangle pattern, I was going to, it is there in the patterns, which is slightly later. But like, this is when I did this in the workshop. So these are different Zentangle patterns, which you can also use in your mandalas. All right, so like how we did the leaf, we do the leaf, and then inside each leaf maybe you can draw this pattern over here and fill it with your circles like pebbles. So that is again a Zentangle pattern. You can also do this in your entire leaf pattern. You can do this as well. So these are different Zentangle patterns which you've done in one. Another one could be is, wait, I'm going to show you. This is a Zentangle inspired artwork. The difference between that was a Zentangle and this is Zentangle inspired artwork. Now what I've done over here, here and here are all Zentangle patterns. Right, so that's how I use these patterns in different art forms. All right, guys, anything else? Any quick question, or should we end this? I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all enjoyed drawing at least 18 patterns with me, and the rest I will upload today itself. Neeti, you can take over.
Yeah. So, one second here. So guys, you can check her page on Instagram for more drawings and the continued portion of today. And we'll just share some of her artworks. Path, can you? Yeah.
So guys, that's the wall art. Sorry, I'm just can you just move to the previous picture? Yeah, so on the right side is the wall art that I did in my Abu Dhabi mall, in my Abu Dhabi hall over here, and that's like my masterpiece because that's a 50-inch diameter mandala that I made. That's all I wanted to say.
Amazing. So hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much, Natasha, for coming. And we are really obliged that you came. Thanks a lot for this session. It was really great. And please, guys, follow Udaan Ideas also. We'll be coming up with new talks every week. So next Saturday, we are going to come with something related to digital marketing. So please follow us on Instagram.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining in.
Yeah. So